Sitting at the top of your mat, let's take a big deep breath in. Arms reach up overhead. Hands coming together in prayer and coming down to your chest. Again, big deep breath in. Arms reaching up, arching the back. Hands coming together. Trying to arch a little further each time. Let's take another really big one this time. Inhaling. Arms coming together. And bringing it all the way down into your forward fold. Halfway lifting. And bringing it back down. Holding here for a few breaths. Softening your knees. And stepping one leg back into a lunge. Lowering the knee down. Reaching both arms up into your low lunge position. Hands coming back down. Stepping your other leg back into a plank position. Pressing into a downward facing dog. Rolling your spine back into plank position. This high plank here, lowering through chaturanga, upward facing dog, and pressing back into your downward facing dog. Stepping your other leg forward next. Lunge position, bringing it into your crescent lunge or high lunge this time. Both hands coming back to your mat, stepping into your forward fold. And bringing your arms back up. Big deep breath in, hands collect into the center. And again, big deep breath in, arms reach up over the head, arching deeper. All the way down into your forward fold, halfway lifting. Lowering your chest back down. And stepping back into your low lunge with the other leg this time. Knee lowers down, arms reach up overhead. Bringing your hands back down around your feet, stepping back into your high plank position. Pressing into your downward facing dog. And a deep breath in as you come back into your high plank position. Lowering down through chaturanga into your upward facing dog. And then pressing back into your downward facing dog. Well done. Walking those feet out if it feels good. And now stepping the other leg forward into your crescent lunge, reaching those arms up overhead. Really feeling a deep stretch through your hip flexor. Hands coming down, lowering through your forward fold. Gently bringing your body up to start. Reaching up to the sky, big deep breath in, gathering your arms together, coming all the way down into that forward fold. Halfway lifting, lowering back down, soften the knees. And this time, hopping or stepping back into your plank position, lowering through chaturanga into your upward facing dog and into your downward facing dog. Nice flow. Really feeling the lengthening of the body through this workout today. Extending one leg up now into a three-legged dog. Let's go ahead and bend that top knee and opening the hip. Open, 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 while trying your best to keep your shoulders square, stacking your hips on top of each other here. And then rotating back to square, lifting that leg long, and lowering your knee down. We'll come into a push-up here, focusing on the triceps, And then extending back into your three-legged dog, bringing that knee down gently, push up, and back to your three-legged dog. Feel the strength and sculpting of this movement as you really focus your energy on your core, your triceps, your glutes. Again, pressing up through that three-legged dog here. Feeling your flexibility and also feeling your strength. Gently bringing it back down. And this time we're going to hold a little balance here if you wish. It's up to you. You could just stay in that three-legged dog as well. Test it out, see how it feels. Good, and bring that knee back down. Flexing through the back toes now. And pointing, just releasing that foot. Let's go ahead and bend the knee. And we're going to tap across. And then crunching in. Again, tapping across and then crunching in. Holding your leg out extended, toes pointed, we're going to come to a diagonal tap and lift to center. Again, diagonal tap and lift to center. Another set of push-ups here, this time seesawing the body slightly. So we'll come forward and back. Back and press into those triceps. Chin coming down toward the mat. Bringing your hands right under your shoulders, extending the opposite arm to leg, and holding the balance for a few breaths here. Crossing that arm over the body, and grasping onto your opposite elbow, we're going to begin some pulses of the back leg, just little kick, kick, kick up toward the sky. Nice, kick, 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 feeling that glute working. Back into a three-legged dog, extending through that leg, feeling a deep, deep stretch. Coming into plank position, high plank here, and pressing it back into your downward facing dog, rolling through your spine like a wave of the ocean. Back and forth from downward facing dog to a high plank position, just rolling up through the spine and then slightly curving and arching to come back to your downward facing dog. Imagining your body was waves in the ocean. Back to that high plank position and back into your downward facing dog. Scooping through the belly as you come back to plank. And bringing it back into that three-legged dog. Stepping forward into your crescent lunge or high lunge. Reaching those arms up overhead. Clasping your fingers together, Pointing your index fingers up high and strong, feeling the arch through the body, bringing your hands back to prayer position. And this time we're going to take a little spinal twist and bringing that elbow across the body to the opposite knee, bringing it all the way to the outside of your knee, working on your balance and flexibility here. You could stay in that position, or you could take it one step further, as I'm showing you here, by extending your arms, one to the ground and one to the sky. More challenging is looking up. A little easier for balance is looking down. If you would like to take a third and most challenging option here, you can attempt the bind that I'm showing you. If that is not in your practice today, stay with the first or second step, whichever one feels challenging and great for your body. Now just bringing it back into that extended position. If you're in the first position, just hold there. And bring your fingers into a mudra. That's up to you. Just finger to index finger. Reaching the other arm in front of us and stepping up. Working on balance here. Both feet together, holding for a moment. And then bringing it into a twisted chair position. So again, twisting that spine. This is great for digestive health. Leaning out that belly and coming back into your chair pose now. Feeling your thighs working. And then bringing it all the way down over the heels of the feet. Feeling your balance, feeling those thighs. Feeling a stretch through your toes and your metatarsals. And working your balance as you come up. Big deep breath in. Great work, you guys. Arching that back. I'm feeling my flexibility here as my body is warming up. As my strength is coming into play, I'm able to hold those balances a little stronger each time. Halfway lifting and then back to your forward fold. Softening the knees and hopping or stepping back into your high plank position. Lowering down through chaturanga. Curling your toes under and bringing it into upward facing dog. And then pressing into your downward facing dog. We're going to go through that series on the other side. So we'll start with our single-legged dog. And then we'll bend that top knee and stack our hips while keeping our shoulders as square as we possibly can, keeping the anatomy of our body in mind. And not pushing ourselves beyond the limits, but always challenging. Extending that leg back up now to your three-legged dog. Beginning to square the hip off slightly here. And then lowering down to your push-up. Showing you guys some variation here. So as you remember, from the first side you could do your push-up, or I'm showing you an option here without. And here is that push-up. Extend it back up into your three-legged downward dog. And then bring it into your push-up. Now if you noticed on the first side, I bent my toes up toward my knee. I'm showing you another variation here. If that doesn't feel good on your knee, you can keep your toes on the mat, and it might give you just a little bit more cushion and support. So take the option that feels best for you. Now again, I'm going to show you an option here. Instead of doing the balance with that toe tucked up to your knee, I'm going to show you an option where you just simply hold right here in your three-point position for a few breaths, working on your core strength, working on your balance. Otherwise, take that pose that we did on the first side where we held our balance. And we're going to come across into our knee tap and crunch. Lift it up, knee taps across, and then a crunch. Now coming into our push-up. So hinging back and then hinging forward, chin to your mat. Squaring off your shoulders and getting your hands right under them. Extending your opposite arm out for a quick balance here, and then we're going to cross that arm over and hold on to the opposite elbow. Coming into our pulses, nice little kick, kick, kick up. We're going to come into our diagonal tap and extend right up to the center. Just showing you a variation here on your forearms, opening the door up to you guys trying different poses and different variations to see what feels good. A lot of yoga is about finding what feels right on your body for that particular practice. So just giving you some options here. And let's go ahead and press it into our three-legged downward dog. Feeling that flexibility. Knee coming in toward the chest and then stepping all the way through into that beautiful high lunge, crescent lunge, extending your fingers up to the sky. Feeling that hip flexor stretch. And then coming around into your twisted lunge. Again, three options here, so you could stay in that first position, or you could extend up as I'm showing you here. The third option would be to take a bind. So find what's right for you and then meet me back in the end of this pose. If you were in that bind, let's go ahead and release, coming back into your comfortable starting position, bringing my mudra to my heart, extending the other one out in front of me, and then stepping up, using it almost as something I could grab onto, a tangible piece of air, and coming into my chair pose, twisting through the upper body. And coming into my traditional chair pose here, feeling those thighs working, and now bringing it down into my forward fold. I'm going to step out nice and wide this time, rocking my hips back and forth into a wide forward fold. Feels so good on those hamstrings. Feel stretch through your back. Take a couple of different options here with your stretch. So I'm going to show you just hands down, or you could reach your hands down between your legs, behind you, or you could even wrap them around your head and feel a little extra stretch on your neck here. So whatever feels comfortable and also safe for your practice today. The toes are pointing slightly inward in that forward fold. And then we're going to rotate around to the opposite side of our mat, stepping our feet together so we're just facing the opposite direction now for the end of our practice. We're going to come into that forward fold and then soften the knees, bring it back up to chair, and then lower yourself all the way down to your mat, extending those arms back behind you. We'll be finishing with a little bit of core work today. So bringing those knees up to tabletop position, extending our arms long overhead, pressing that spine into the mat, and then bringing our arms up to parallel. Wrists and fingertips right over the shoulders, reaching up to the sky, feeling a nice isolation of your core here. And you're breathing, you're bringing that spine closer. Now, we'll take a variation of rolling like a ball by holding our heels today. You can't roll quite as far when you're holding your heels, so you'll see how different that feels. And then we'll come into a more traditional rolling like a ball where we hold on behind our knees and we can roll all the way up now. Feeling the two variations on the spine. Nice stretch after all that glute work and spinal rotation that we did. And then coming up all the way to standing, forward fold, lowering down into your goddess squat. Yogic squat here, knees pressing out to the sides, using those elbows. Arms are in Anjali Mudra in front of you, prayer position. Extending those hips up to the sky now, walking your feet back into parallel. Toes are touching, reaching back behind you. If this feels good today, you can take a nice deep stretch in your forward fold. If it's not in your practice, you can just stay in your halfway lift, placing your hands right on your shins. Again, another option here is to extend those arms behind you, feeling the chest opening, feeling the shoulders stretching. We can take it even farther by releasing the neck all the way down and bringing those hands up into a deep stretch. Trying to bring those fingertips all the way down toward the mat. They're not going to go all the way down, but that is the goal. That is the idea. Helping you to get deeper into that stretch. Softening the knees. Rolling up through the spine. Let's take a big deep breath in here. Feels so good to release how deep that stretch is compared to the first time you did it. All the way down into your forward fold. Halfway lifting. Again, lowering down. Stepping back into your high plank position. Let's come into a downward facing dog. Rolling that spine back into plank. And releasing through Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. Thighs lifting off the mat. Pressing into a downward facing dog. Well done. Really feeling the stretch here. And my favorite part of class is coming up next. 4-point position into your child's pose. Starting to release all of that energy, releasing the mind, the body, the spirit right into this workout. Allowing your body to just find some gratitude for everything you did today. Coming forward into a nice cobra wave of the spine. Waving back up into your child's pose. That feels so good. Waving back through into that cobra and waving the spine back down, feeling that watery movement flowing through the body. Once again, pressing back into your child's pose. And waving your spine, pressing it into downward dog, now curling those toes under you. Softening the knees, looking toward the top of your mat, and stepping or hopping forward, and releasing yourself all the way down into your final pose today, which is going to be Shavasana. Relaxing your mind, relaxing your body, letting everything go. And feel free to hold this pose as long as you need to, or as long as you can today. It's a really great way to finish this yoga practice. Let's release the tension from your toes, up to your knees, into the thighs. Feel your breath in your belly just flowing up and down as you take big deep breaths in and out. Feeling that body relaxing and releasing. Feeling your spine releasing into the mat. All of the muscles in your face just softening and relaxing here. And again, feel free to stay in your Shavasana for longer. But if you're ready to close the practice for today, we'll go ahead and sit cross-legged. Take one more nice deep breath in, and take a moment to find gratitude for yourself, your body, and your spirit today.